Stephen, do you think we should detain and deport every single illegal migrant coming over the channel?
We should detain them by all means, but not deport them,
Why?
because some of them may be genuine.
Why?
Some of them.
How do you know they're genuine?
Just Mike, you cannot say that every single person crossing the channel is a potential rapist.
I've not
or
said that,
paedophile.
have I?
Yes, you did. You said all of them.
Stephen.
No. And you said one case, right?
Yeah.
So of the 50,000 that have come here since your Labour government got in, I bet you there's a percentage in there to whom this leaflet applies. If it didn't, the government wouldn't have.
And there it is. Lee Anderson puts Stephen Pound on the spot with a brutally simple question. If they arrive illegally, what exactly should happen to them? Pound refuses to back mass deportations, insisting some could be genuine. But that immediately creates the question Anderson wants answered. How do you know who is genuine until you actually investigate them? And from here, the argument only gets more heated.
Basically telling the illegal migrants that's coming over the channel to stop raping women and children.
Lee, it's one of the most sensible documents that the Home Office have produced for a long, long time.
Really?
Yeah. I have to say, anything that actually puts down in writing that there is no possible legal way you can have sex with somebody under the age of 16, we need to get that out there and let people know about that. We've got to tell them early. But I have heard from a mate of mine in the Home Office that the original document said, of course, while we respect your own culture, this is, and Shabana Mahmood said, scrub all that lot, go straight to the chase, no excuses, no possible other different interpretations.
Just look at the title of it, right? Understanding Behaviours and Expectations in the UK. That in itself is a complete screen of deceit, okay?
Yeah, it is.
Because what it's really about is the cultural and societal effect that people from other countries, other cultures are having on our country. And as you've just already outlined, it's actually a guidance on you must not impose yourself on other human beings, male and female, just because where you come from, it is something that happens every day.
So what's wrong with saying that?
The disagreement is already obvious. One side sees the leaflet as basic protection and a clear warning. The other sees its very existence as proof that something has gone badly wrong. And that difference is about to become personal.
Well, no, what I'm
wrong with
saying is
saying
that
that?
we don't want people like that in our country.
Well, and
what
I
I'm
agree.
saying is that our country has a set of standards which we invented for the civilised world, and these are not civilised standards. So anybody who's got to be warned not to behave like that should not be coming to our country because of the societal and cultural damage they do to our beautiful United Kingdom.
No, Stephen.
Come on, Mike, just row back a little bit on that.
Well, should I?
Look, there are people in this country on a temporary basis, hopefully, and we have to actually let them know that there's certain things you must not do, and if you do that, you'll be on your bike by breakfast time.
Oh, I've got to interrupt there. If they don't already know that behaviour is repulsive in the modern world, in a civilised society, they should not be here.
Well, I agree, Mike, but on the other hand, they will claim that they didn't know that. They will say, I had no idea that this was it. This actually puts down a marker and it says, this is the way we do things. If you don't like it, on your bike.
But what about the people who've let them in, Stephen?
Yeah.
But notice the problem here. If these rules are supposedly obvious, why does the government need to spell them out? And if the answer is simply education, why does Stephen keep treating the criticism of the leaflet as though it is the real problem?
The people who've let them in know that that's not the way we behave in this country, and they're printing leaflets to tell them so.
Mike,
why on earth they let them in?
Mike, we don't have a desk bobbing about on a pedalo in the middle of the channel saying, before you go any further, my friend, can you just fill in this form and let us know what your attitude is?
Stephen, if you was living in a little North Yorkshire hamlet, 200 or 300 villagers in this hamlet, 200 or 300 people, should I say, living in this hamlet, and there was a nearby disused army camp, and they told you, the Home Office told you there's going to move in 1,200 undocumented illegal migrants into that camp. But have no fear. Do not worry about your daughters and your women, because we're going to give everyone one of these leaflets. Would that make you... No, Stephen. Would that make you feel better?
It wouldn't make me feel that much better, but on the other hand, at least I would know that a mark has been put down. But on the key point about the army camps, you and I have been saying for years, they should not be in hotels.
That wasn't the question.
Locked up.
Stop dodging the bullet.
And this is where Lee's hypothetical lands a direct hit. Would handing out a leaflet really reassure a small community facing a huge influx? Stephen admits it wouldn't make him feel much better, which leaves Lee pressing the obvious question, what actually would?
Would you feel better?
Sorry, don't let the facts confuse you, Lee.
For years, for decades, I've been saying, I'm not against immigrants coming to this country. If they want to contribute to the way we live, to our economy, to our well-being, all well and good. But I'm worried that certain cultures around the world are so opposite to ours. I don't want my Christian culture, my way of life in England affected. I've been called racist. I've been called, intolerant. Yeah. But this has been published because the sorts of offences that are outlined in that pamphlet are going up. And they've been detailed time and time again in the Crown Courts and in the punishment centres of this country.
So, Mike, after this, there are no more excuses. As far as I'm concerned, that's a damn good thing.
No, you're saying now that because this has been published, we won't forgive them in future. We shouldn't have been forgiving them in the first place.
Why have the government produced this document? Why?
Because there is a problem, not just a problem of perception, but a problem of actuality of sexual offences being committed by people who are undocumented illegal immigrants.
That's a growing number.
Yeah.
Stephen now tries to draw a distinction between immigration and criminal behaviour, but Mike pushes the argument back toward the government's reason for producing the leaflet. The debate is no longer about whether the document exists, it is about why officials felt it was necessary at all.
Whether it's a growing number or not, whether one is too many, for one girl under the age of 16 is one too many.
Yeah.
The reality is that we have to actually put down a marker and say that certain things are acceptable, certain things, never mind where you come from, never mind what your culture is, you're in this country now, this is the way we do things. We respect women in this country, we don't rape kids, we actually act as civilised human beings. Here it is in writing. You've got no excuse again.
Why should you have to tell a human being to not behave
Sadly,
like a barbarian, like a savage? And also, and you know this, Stephen, because you're a well-read man, defence lawyers in these sort of cases always say to the magistrate or the judge, of course, my client comes from a culture where this sort of behaviour was acceptable. They tried to use it as a defence.
No lawyer has ever defended anybody in this country by saying it is culturally acceptable to rape kids.
I've heard it reported in court. I've heard it reported in courts.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, that just isn't the case. But look,
well, it is, Peter. It is.
And then comes the confrontation. Mike challenges the idea that every person arriving should be treated as a potential threat, while the other side keeps returning to individual cases. That's the tension running through this entire exchange. Punish the guilty, or act before you know who's guilty.
The reality is, Mike, you cannot say that every single person crossing the channel is a potential rapist or paedophile.
I've not said that, have I?
Yes, you did. You said all of them.
Stephen. No. And you said one case, right? Yeah. So of the 50,000 that have come here since your Labour government got in, I bet you there's a percentage in there to whom this leaflet applies. If it didn't, the government wouldn't have published
Mike, can I just tell you, Boris Johnson was not a Labour Prime Minister. 2.5 million immigrants, Boris Johnson was not Labour, mate.
You see, you're dodging the bullet against it.
Yeah,
you're deflecting again.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll ask you.
Lee, I'll answer any question you put to me.
Yes, but not straight though, will you, Steve?
I'll answer any question.
Give me a straight answer to this question. Yeah. Can you understand why the vast majority of people in our beautiful country are outraged by this leaflet?
No.
This is where the argument really collapses into two competing principles. Mike says you cannot punish everyone for the actions of a minority. Lee's side says national safety comes first. Neither is willing to concede, and now Lee goes straight back to demanding a clear answer.
You can't understand.
No. But why would you be outraged by telling somebody what you can't do? We have to actually remove any possible excuse that these people have. And that pamphlet, that does it.
Stephen, do you think we should detain and deport every single illegal migrant coming over the channel?
We should detain them by all means, but not deport them, because some of them may be genuine.
Why?
Some of them.
How do you know they're genuine?
Because we won't know until we've detained them and done the full investigation.
Michael.
But you cannot say every single person who comes to this country.
If you bring a boatload of 230, like we saw on the mega dinghy last week, and two of them are wrong-uns that commit awful crimes, surely it's worth sending all 230 back.
No, why should you punish everybody for the sins of the few?
Because you've got to look after your country. The safety of your country and your country's indigenous people comes before any other consideration.
Exactly. I'm sorry,
we already know from intelligence sources that there might be Iranians in this country seeking to do us harm.
Mike, sadly, some Brits do as well.
And that is ultimately what makes this exchange so revealing. Nobody here is seriously arguing that rape, sexual assault, or violence should be tolerated. The real fight is over what happens before guilt has been established. Lee Anderson keeps pushing the argument toward deterrence, enforcement, and national security. Stephen Pound keeps pushing back against collective punishment, insisting that individual cases have to be investigated before people are deported. And that distinction matters. Because the moment you start treating every person in a group as guilty because some individuals have committed crimes, you abandon individual responsibility. But at the same time, simply saying that some people might be genuine cannot be the end of the argument either. Eventually, someone has to investigate the claim, establish who is genuine, and decide what happens next. And that's why Lee's question at the end was so effective for the debate: detain them, investigate them, but then what? Stephen had an answer. But he absolutely refused to give Lee the blanket deportation policy he was demanding. And that is exactly where this clash became impossible to ignore. So what do you think? Was Lee right to keep pushing for a tougher answer, or was Stephen right to reject collective punishment? Let me know your view in the comments.